It is Tuesday, November 5th, 2024, 7:30 p.m. sharp. It is election day, and we are here to elect
Live
Josh.
stream the election.
Yeah, we're here to elect Josh to our hearts. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Hidden Oaks Overdose Football Fix podcast. I am one of your lovely hosts, the Garlic Johnson. We are joined, as always, by our other lovely hostess, the Joshua Mitchell. Josh, say hi to the folk out there.
Folk, hi. Put your hand down.
Yeah, Walters, put your fucking hand down. This is not a democracy in here tonight. We are dictators, and you will sit there and you will like it. We appreciate people who sit there and like it in our Discord server. They chat along with us all the live long day and makes it fun for all. We also appreciate at Levi Oki Illustration for all the beautiful art he's provided. And then we appreciate Josh. And so we want to know how Josh is doing. Josh, how are you doing?
I'm here.
Wow, that good, huh?
Yeah. Changed my brakes this weekend.
Oh, did you end up hooking up with Walters?
No. I did figure it out on my own, but one of the calipers, is the slide bolt is pretty rusted on, and I couldn't get it off, and yeah, so I did replace the pads. I managed to get it, but I couldn't get it done, so I couldn't grease that up. So I am technically driving unsafely, but I like to live life on the edge.
That's just how we know you're a real man, right?
Yep. But yeah, that being said, I have some guys at church that I could talk to because the suggested method was to take a blowtorch to it, so it heats up,
yeah,
and then you can pry it out that way. But I don't have a blowtorch that I would trust, and I don't think that they had WD-40 and a lighter in mind when it came to blowtorching. But yeah, otherwise, it was okay. It went well.
Hell yeah, brother. So overall,
Yep.
you feel proud of your performance then?
No, because it did take me too long. My back hurts. I'm too old for this.
God. What's it like being
how are
so
you,
old?
Gar?
I'm doing okay. I'm honestly excited that both I can stop watching political ads, but also it's no secret to anyone
Yes.
that I like watching, or I like being invested in politics a little bit. So I've got, literally right now, I've got Steve Kornacki on in the background. And I love that man in his khakis sitting there and breaking down the board. They just projected Kamala wins Delaware. Wow, all 3 electoral votes. That's going to change everything. But no, it's an exciting night for me. And I intentionally half-assed a couple things on the podcast so we get out of here in a quick fashion so I can return to my election night watching. Because this is a big night for me. I enjoy it. So the Super Bowl of politics, obviously, right? Every 4 years here. So
Yeah, do you have your, so it's like the World Cup of politics, because that only happens every 4 years too.
you know what? You got me.
But what you're saying is you've got that popcorn machine fully loaded, 10 sticks of butter in the butter melter, or however those things work,
Yes, sir.
and you're just sitting there with like a garbage bag chute and like a fan, so when the popcorn's done, it just blows through the garbage bag chute onto your lap, and you're just buried in popcorn right now.
Josh, how do you is there like a camera in here you installed one of the times you come over for the Super Bowl parties, or what? Like, how do you know?
Yeah, well,
my
how many
literal
Super Bowl parties?
exact-
How many Super Bowl parties have I been to? I could buy 3 to 4 high quality spy cams every year.
Oh my god.
So yeah, there's about 15 cameras, 13 of which are in your bathroom, because that's where I have the most opportunity to present them. But yeah, I've got 1 or 2.
You've watched me jerk off to some really nasty things over the years, haven't you?
No, I actually only watch it during the political time because I know that you're going to be in front of the TV.
Gotcha.
I know better than to do that.
Okay, you don't want to scar yourself.
Yep.
All right, Josh, should we hop into it?
Yeah. Gar, it's Tuesday, so what do you want to talk about?
Oh man, here comes fucking Al on his victory march. Al, I talked about it last week, me not making a lot of waiver wire moves, and then yet another week I didn't make really many waiver wire moves. And then, fucking cocky McGee over here, Al, just had to throw up my face that I got eliminated from Brad's Guillotine League for the first time in the 2.5 years I've played in it. I've never been guillotined. I've always made it to the final 3 in the first 2 years, and now this year's the first time I got chopped. And Al's never died either, so all I'm gonna have to hear about forever and ever is how much better Al is than me. So I guess I'm the fucking taco that we be taco about this Tuesday, Josh. What about you?
Well, I'm always a taco in fantasy this year, it seems. Had my worst performance of the season, but we'll get into that. But I'm just gonna go out and throw out. We all saw it. We all will relive it. I'm sure. I'm sure you Vikings fans are over there. Just buying all the stock in Lubriderm. But
Oh God.
we saw the Jordan Love throwing that ugly, ugly pick six, and yeah, that was a very taco move. And so we'll acknowledge it now, and then we'll all forget about it. Correct?
I mean, if it makes you feel any better, I literally have no idea what pick you're talking about. So, if that's any validation.
Because he's thrown so many. Wow, thanks, Gar.
Someone's a little defensy today.
Trump with 101 electoral votes at this point to Harris's 52.
Yep. All right, there we go. What should our politics name real pick be? The political players or political playmakers, maybe?
I mean, I'm looking at Walters' chat, and I mean, he's gonna play. It's not like, and it wasn't like he was that injured. He practiced. He was just a little sore. I mean,
practice?
You can play while you're sore. It happens. At least he didn't pull a Patrick Mahomes and fake an ankle injury after landing awkwardly, have to get carried across the field on a stretcher, probably resuscitated on the sideline, go in the blue tent, then come out jogging just to get the crowd riled up. But yeah, other than that, no other taco moves.
Okay, well that's good. It was another weekend where I didn't have a lot of chance to pay much attention to outside football, so I wasn't sure how many other taco things would have happened during the real life games. Josh, it is election night, and again, the big races happen every 4 years for president. Of course, there's elections every 2 years, and some elections every year, depending on what you're voting for. But we decided that it'd be fun to add a little political flavor to the podcast, not actual politics. So calm down, Alan Walt. We're talking about player political platforms here, and you had the idea of coming up with a couple of different things, little criteria. I came up with a couple things. I'm guessing you have them on a side scratch piece of paper since I don't see them in the thing, and you're more creative than me, so maybe you should go first to give the folks a good example, and then I'll give my couple, and then if you have any others, you would go last as well. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so we're going to go with for my presidential candidate and Walter's.
Well, yeah, can you explain what we're doing? Sorry, I skipped that part.
So we are coming up with current players that would be running mates, so president, vice president, and then it's their slogan. And so what their tagline for the year is, and then what platform they're willing to die on. So maybe a rule change that they'd want implemented, or a rule change that has been made, or an unpopular rule that they're willing to stick with, and then something that they want to abolish, something that most presidential candidates will say that they're going to do things, and like get rid of some things and lower prices and all that stuff, and whether or not it comes through, that's one thing, but that is going to be kind of their stances. And so for the 2024.5 Hidden Oaks election, my presidential nomination is Christian McCaffrey, his running mate TJ Hawkinson. We put the IR in American platform. They're just going to die on that. They want that points per IR platform. So whatever average point they have from the previous seasons, maybe combined in all the games played, all their average points, they want that to be their weekly total if you have them on their lineup. What they're going to abolish if they were elected into office is NFL injuries as a whole. We want to see clean games with no injuries. Vote for McCaffrey.
See, that's why I had you go first. I love that, because mine are not nearly as good as that. So I don't know if you came up with multiple or if that's your only one. But you have nothing else. You shot us a good first shot here. I came up with a couple, and they're not nearly as good. For the top of the line, the top line candidate for president, I'm going with Geno Smith. And as his running mate, I'm going with George Kittle, because not only is George a very presidential name, but both of these men, they start with G's, and I'm a G man myself, so I love me some G's. But also, Josh, the slogan for these two men would be 30 flirty, and thriving. Okay, we got George Kittle, age 31, Geno Smith, age 34, and they are killing it at their respective positions. We got Geno Smith leading the league in passing yards. He's also the number 7 fantasy QB. We got George Kittle, the number 1 tight end, and he's got 6 touchdowns on the year. This man these men are having resurgences after having up and down careers. It's not the first year that Geno Smith has been doing well in Seattle, but these men are 30, flirty, and thriving. So of course their platform is going to be, don't count out them olds. Whether you're doing a dynasty draft or whether you're doing just your classic redraft league, don't discount those olds too bad. These old men, they still got that dog in them. That's what we're talking about. We're talking about Geno and George taking back the White House. Moving on to Josh. We're talking about the bees. For president, I'm going with Baker Mayfield. And for VP, I'm going with Brock Bowers. And of course, the thing these men have in common and why they choose each other as running mates is because they've got the 5 Bs. Baker, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Brock, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. And their political slogan, everyone loves alliteration: be better, being better, bitch. And that's just a beautiful slogan for them to rock on. Their platform is a little divisive, actually. There's actually some infighting. These two are kind of put together just based on the 5 Bs in their name. Brock Bowers, he doesn't really care about touchdowns. His success this season is thriving off receptions. And he's got 57 receptions for 580 yards and only 2 touchdowns. This guy doesn't really give a rip about touchdown. But Baker, for the number 2 quarterback in all of fantasy right now, this man is being heavily carried by touchdowns. He's got 23 on the season, leading the league for quarterbacks. And so Baker, obviously, as the top line candidate, gets priority, and he wants 6-point quarterback touchdowns because, of course, that'll inflate his profile even more. He could pass up Lamar Jackson atop the quarterback rankings. But Brock Bowers doesn't care about touchdowns at all. And there's going to be some political infighting during the campaign. It's going to be juicy. It's going to be drama, Josh.
I like it. Thank you, Gar. I do have 10 more.
Hell yeah.
11 more, I suppose. 12 more. I did one for every team in our league. So we've got, I didn't do the platform. I just did the names and the slogans. So these are going to be your independents, so you will say. We've got for President McLaurin, Vice President Tony Pollard. Slogan, we've been underestimated, but we'll deliver for you. So just shout out to their low draft position and maybe the kind of wishy-washies on drafting them, but then they've been solid this year. Next, we've got Lamar Jackson for president, Justin Jefferson for vice president. Consistency is key. Consistent high numbers week to week. After that, we've got a pair of running mates. You'll understand the joke in a second, folks. We've got Saquon Barkley and Alvin Kamara. Run free, brother. Next, Brock Bowers for president. Dalvin Cook, let Bowers cook. That's all he's got to say there. Tucker Kraft is the presidential nomination for the next party. And then Kyle Pitts. Tight ends make great friends. I guess that's, one way of looking at it. We'll just call them the legalize marijuana party. Jesse. This is what it's based off. Presidential. We've got Derrick Henry and Amon-Ra St. Broad. God says, long live the king. Long live the king. Damn it. I can't read. Next, we've got Josh Allen and Devon Achane. Go big or go home. After that, Hopkins and DeAndre Swift. New team, same dream. After that, we've got Kenneth Walker III and Brian Robinson. Slow and steady wins the race. Zay Flowers, Trey McBride. USA is on the ride of Flowers for McBride. And then we've got Marvin Harrison and Brian Thomas, Young Wild and Freedom. Brian. Damn it, I did it again. I didn't even do Brian, so that's why. Okay. That was just me going through and looking at team names while I was getting ready to make dinner and didn't have a whole lot of time. But yeah.
You know what? That's better. We got Walters in the chat here that says Saquon for Prez, Jamar Gibbs for VP, doing backwards hurdles and running is their platform. And then, or is that their slogan? Or is that their platform? I
think I voted for Al's. I do think that's a good one.
Pearsall Robinson. There we go. Bulletproof Bry. And we don't have like a cool punny gun nickname for Ricky, do we?
No. No. Bulletproof Brad was doing it before. He made it cool.
I mean, if we want to go all the way back, Plaxico was doing it before it was cool.
That's true. All right, Gar. This is where we get salty. How salty are you?
Well, Josh, I also
Trump to.
Hold on, I got the sounder and I forgot to play it, so I want to play this real quick.
Anakin, my allegiance is to the Republic, to democracy.
I forgot to play at the beginning, so I just wanted to, I'm never going to use it for anything else. Okay, Josh, I didn't have an overly salty week other than getting fucking eliminated from Brad's Guillotine League. I'm still mad about that, but it's only my fault. Overall, I went 5-3 in my leagues this week. That puts me at 38-34 as my records read in the leagues. Going down to the intellectual property of Joshua Allen Bunker Incorporated, I would have gone 48-34 playing every team in every league. So that's a 58.54 percentage overall in the season. I'm 434 and 402, so both up top and down low. I'm starting to creep up and edge just above that 500 line. Hopefully that trend continues. I can get up to the 55, maybe in the 60% win percent range, because I am following the average and I'm following the mean very close this year, and I'm not getting lucky, so I need to just keep performing well, and I hope I can do that. So not that salty, Josh, but certainly not my best year by any stretch of the imagination. How about you, Josh? What are your sodium levels like?
I'm giving Brad a run for his money. This was the leveling off week, so I've been a consistent 3-4 with a couple 4 and 3s in there. This week I brought the average back to 3-4 with my 1-6 finish. So shout out there. Bringing my total on to 27-36 on the season, 42% win percent. Using the intellectual property of Joshua Allen Bunker Incorporated, I tied for my worst week with a 19-34 against everybody. It was just an ugly week all around. I went into last night knowing I'd already lost in the Deflate These Balls in the Champions League. And then I had I had a sliver of hope that Kate Otten would just dominate, and he did in the first half. And I went and I looked, and it was the third quarter, midway through the third quarter, and I was down by 2. And I was like, oh, Kate Otten gets a big catch here. I don't care if he has Baker. If Kate Otten gets a big catch and the game ends, I win. Well, it turns out they went into overtime, and Kate Otten, I don't think, got a catch at all in the fourth quarter or overtime. And I ended up losing by 11. So a little bit salty there. Good for you, Walters. Al got beaten Champs League. I mean, it's a 3-person division, so you, Al, and Jack are going to be fighting for those 2 playoff spots. And by that, I mean you and Jack, because Al's probably already locked his in. Moving on to kind of another kind of saltiness factor. Brad just about came back and beat me. His 2-6 team, or whatever it was, almost came back from a 40-point deficit last night and beat me. And in the one league that I won in, I do not know if we would still have a podcast for the remainder of this year if that would have happened.
Dramatic.
Because that would have not only knocked me out of the kind of the current playoff standings, but it would have also cemented the fact that we have the most points for not in the playoffs at that point in the season. Because I surpassed Connor for most points for in that league. Just so happens that I'm also the games that I lose, or the games that I win by a lot. The games that I lose, I play the high team.
Sure.
But something that did kind of settle my salt, so to say. All those S's, kind of fun to say.
Were you a silly snake?
Sure. I sent out that link to the fantasy ranker using Fantasy Genius, which was where you take they provide 10 quarterbacks, 10 running backs, and 10 wide receivers, and you just rank them 1 through 10 on how you think they're going to perform that week. And I missed the first week that they had sent it out, I believe, but I did get. I'm in 44th out of I don't even remember, 700, 150. Somewhere between 44 and 1 million. But then I did it breaks it down by how you did by each position. I struggled in the quarterback and I struggled in the running back position. But the wide receivers, I was the 3rd best overall. So kind of helped with the salt, saying it's like, hey, you're not completely dumb. You do know some things, buddy. So yeah.
So yeah. What now, Josh?
Oh yeah. Now we talk about dogs and logs.
I just wanted
Dogs
to make
this
sure.
week.
Okay.
Dogs this week. We've got Saquon Barkley starting in 99% of leagues. He contributed to 73% win rate, followed by JSN with a 72% win rate. Devon Achane with a 69% win rate. Zay Flowers with a 67% win rate. Alvin Kamara with a 67% win rate. Honorable mentions: Garrett Wilson, Travis Kelce, Derrick Henry, and DeAndre Hopkins. Gar, did you have any of those fellers?
I definitely had JSN. He helped carry my Dynasty team league, and I think I have him in the. It doesn't really matter, but just for my own curiosity, I'm going to pull up the redraft team league as well. But I for sure have him in Dynasty, and that helps me, Josh. I had the top score in the Hidden Oaks Dynasty League this week. Remember when you guys were all making fun of me for everything I did? And I did have JSN in redraft as well, but I lost. Fuck that.
So hang on, you had JSN and Devon Achane.
In the redraft league, yeah.
And you, but if you add that up, that's like 140% chance to win, Gar.
Okay, Josh, it's not my fault. I went 8-3 in the league. I happened to play one of the people who scored more than me, and let me go look to see who they had on their team.
Oh, they had Kelce and Hopkins. So
well, then I got fucked in the ass yet again. Classic.
Yeah. It's funny because I drafted Hopkins, traded him to Brian. Brian dropped him, and now Jeremy has him. It's just, he's all over the place. Moving on to logs, the ploppers, the ones that disappoint. Kyler Murray with 34% win rate. Marvin Harrison, 36% win rate. Shocking. Same team. Michael Pittman, 38%. Chris Olave, rest in peace, 38%. And then CJ Stroud, 39% win rate. So a bunch of players on there. I have one of them, Chris Olave. Never drafting you again. Chris Olave might be the new Mike Evans, in my opinion. Just never going to touch him again. Ishies. Hood Highs. Side bet, photo finish. I believe last week I had said that whoever plays me is likely going to get that because I just keep it close enough to disappoint myself in immense fashion. I was close. Sorry, Eric. Or not Eric. Yeah, Eric. No, not Eric.
Go ahead.
I don't even know who I played. Sorry, opponent. Yeah, it was Eric. I didn't score enough points for you to beat me by a little amount. You got third. Jeremy won.
Chris Olave has proven nothing. Wow. Josh, do you believe that Chris Olave has proven nothing?
I mean, hasn't he been like a top 10 finish for the first 2 years of his career?
I don't know, man. Walt knows way more about fantasy football than I will ever, so I'm just going off what the fucking Oracle over here said, dude.
Yeah, Walter does have opinions.
He sure does, doesn't he? All right, Josh. So shout out to Jeremy for getting that photo fin. I did not do the NFL player exchange this week, as I said. We've been going at
top. He's been wide receiver 1 in PPR.
Is that good?
So I don't know. Well, I guess maybe not. 16th overall.
That is absolutely
wrong.
Proved over and over again.
Wrong.
Sorry, that's the other sounder I got just for today.
I love it.
Yeah. All right. It is election night. But speaking of, I did not do the NFL player exchange. We have been doing that every other week, so I kept with that trend anyways, because we did it last week, so it works out perfectly for me. But I do genuinely want to get back to just staring at 24-hour news, which is kind of a cancer to society, but on this one rare circumstance, I'm enjoying it. So I'm going to get back to that. Josh, is there anything, but I don't have to end it by, unilaterally. Is there anything else you'd like to talk to the nice folks about, whether it's regular football? I mean, the Vikings absolutely destroyed Carl Bear's favorite team, absolutely destroyed. Wasn't even close. Wasn't even sketchy by the Vikings at all. We didn't look bad for a single second. Just an absolute dominant victory over the Colts on Sunday Night Football. Everyone loved that. You already talked about
I'm just wondering,
being
so like
the embarrassment of the world, but
KOC, sorry.
Yeah.
Does he is he trying to throw people off the set that he only game plans for one half? Instead of scripting the first half this week, he scripted the second. Because let's face it, you guys are a one-half team. And the first 8 weeks of the season, it's been the first half. This week, it was the second half. Because I was just sitting there, it was just mind-boggling just to watch that. You're right. It is better than a no-half team.
Al from the top rope, dude.
Yeah, well, he's not talking about the Packers because the Packers are a one-quarter team, Al.
Ooh,
Suck it.
No. No, Walters. No one plays half PPR. That's a weak system. Anyways, all right, Josh. So is there anything else you'd like to talk about, whether it's fantasy related or real football related, before we head out and return to our beautiful election night coverage?
Well, Gar, in the fantasy political world where we draft for individuals watching election coverage, you'd be my first overall pick.
Do you mean it?
Maybe.
All right, and I will advocate. I know no one has to care. I hope everyone voted today. The polls. Do they close right at 8 Minnesota? Or do they stay up until 10? They're probably closing at 8.
I think they close at 8. My polling site closed at 8, so I don't know.
Okay. So I hope, it's pretty much 8 o'clock now. I hope everyone exercised their right to vote. I care more about not who you voted for. I care more about that you voted than who you voted for. Also, I am biased. I really like the MSNBC coverage. I know it's an extremely biased network. I'm not saying overall they're a better network, but Steve Kornacki, Josh, I don't know if you ever flip between the channels and see who has the best map game or the best data analysis game. Steve Kornacki is by far the supreme leader when it comes to election night map coverage and doing the math and doing all the calculators and this and that. Steve Kornacki on MSNBC is the national leader, and I will never not recognize that. So, just so you guys know, Walters, I don't care about your fucking news nation, dude, but Steve Kornacki is leader supreme.
I actually get all my news from Al Jazeera.
That I believe. But okay, so that'll be my one bit. I hope, I don't know. I hope people voted, and I hope people exercised their right to vote. Because there's one thing. If there was one thing that will kind of get my panties in a bunch, is people who sit there and complain from the sidelines and then don't even try literally anything, whether it's advocating or protesting or calling potential voters or even voting themselves. So hopefully, if nothing else, you got your own voice heard at the ballot box today. So with that,
or if you're like some Americans, won't name names here, but some Americans who show up to their polling place and it's the wrong ballot.
Oh,
Missouri,
no.
You're stupid.
Oh, no.
But then also, mine was pre-filled, so I didn't have an option on mine.
Oh, perfect.
I think a lot of people in Big Lakes were. Yep. It was.
Who'd you get it from?
It was well. I don't know what district I'm in officially, but it was weird. It was just everybody was handed an envelope and told to go over here and put it in the Scantron without looking. Well, I took a peek, and it actually had on there presidential vote from top to bottom, and it was just Kamala Harris filled in.
Oh, excellent.
All the way down.
So the plan is working.
From Big Lake, Minnesota, she has gotten at least 750 million because she got 10 per ballot.
So there's going to be quite a statistical adoption. You think they would do that in a bigger state? Minnesota only has 10 electoral votes. You think they would, do that operation in a more populous state? But you know what? Who am I to question?
Well, we are talking about Kamala Harris here, so.
Oh my God, Josh! It's actually Joe Biden just pulling the strings.
But yep. No, I mean, and of all the states to do it in, why Minnesota? That thing hasn't voted red in 700 years.
The last time we voted red was Nixon. It's interesting.
Al, you might want to get that checked out. There might be eczema on your hand.
Oh no. All right, I do want to get out of here. Everyone, I'm going to start the music. Josh, if you want to rant for a minute, you have the floor to do so, but I'm going to start the music. Thank you, everyone, so much for listening. We love you. Josh, you can say go Packers, and good luck watching election coverage tonight. There's always a chance we have to wait until tomorrow to find out who really won. Bye, everybody.
Bye. Well, it's past his bedtime. Obviously, he's not there. Joe Biden wouldn't go to an 8 p.m. party.
He got the early bird special at 3 and then was in bed by 4.
Yeah, he's got to get up by 2 a.m. to check his prostate, and then it's just not gonna happen. Walter, stop raising your hand.
I'm not gonna let Walter speak on the fucking political night. There's no shot. You can speak next week. I only know what kind of nonsense is gonna come out of your mouth if I give you the floor. Walters, I don't trust you. Not tonight. Actually, Al, I can. In this domain, I am the King Cobra, bitches.